everyone, this is the first video of a series I'd like to start, where I play an indie game, or a game from a small company. This is a Legionnaire's Life. It's made by if it's made by a single person, it's on Steam, you can look it up. I'm drawing blanks to the name, but it's a game about playing a legionnaire in the Roman Empire, and we're going to be playing a playthrough. So we click new game here. And then we can choose an emphasis. I'm going to choose an emphasis on physical stats. So I like to reroll. I definitely do sit here for a long time and reroll until I get stats that I want. I personally like getting high strength, quickness, and charisma. Let's see. Hopefully I can get the stats. Oof. Nah, but the awareness is too low. Okay, these are stats I will take. Archara. And you get points by playing and completing the game. You get more points to be able to spend and get further in. So I will play the game with the points I have. First, I will just assign myself the semi-best starting equipment. Now I will boost my stats. I'll grab both of these. The rest into gold, and then yep, so these are my stats. Done. The first war lasted for over 20 years. Conflict had been only a matter of time. Once the relentless expansion of Rome came close to a huge Carthaginian sphere of influence, a young power propelled by a staggering self-confidence, Rome had most of the Italic Peninsula under its control at the time. So here we are in the training screen. What else? Let the game explain. Strength has a direct influence on the damage you deal. Endurance allows you to fight to the best of your ability for longer. Constitution determines your capacity to absorb damage, represented by health points. Quickness makes you act more frequently in combat. And coordination allows you to recover faster and more effectively when you lose stance. Charisma represents your social skills and personal magnetism. Awareness measures how sharp your senses and instincts are. It is also used in combat when attempting or resisting feints. Intellect represents your logic, decision-making, and problem-solving in education. Attributes and values are penalized in red and are being penalized by your current equipment. For example, helmets usually reduce awareness. Sword represents your skill with your main melee weapon. It is a central component of many combat actions like attacks, feints, and soft spot attacks. The shield skill is used to determine your chances of successfully defending from both melee and ranged attacks. In those rare circumstances where you enter the field without a shield, a value based on your current weapon skill, quickness, and coordination is used, resulting in a lower defense, especially when fighting in an enclosed space. Your javelin is employed for ranged attacks. You won't use it as often as your melee skills, but your javelin can be a devastating weapon in expert hands. Levels range from 1 to 99, 1 being some complete cluelessness, 8 denotes a character who has a few basic notions, 29 is a mediocre amateur, 50 represents an average professional, 71 delineates excellence, 91 means that this is one of the best practitioners. All of the enemies you can meet over the course of this game have been designated with levels. Besides skills, there are many other factors affecting how you are in combat: morale, stance, fatigue level, weapon handiness, weapon reach, environmental conditions, etc. So I'm a simple legionnaire, about 1 of 120. Alright, these are my wages. And then this is, I could let the game explain it, but it would take a while. The inventory doesn't really come up that often. deeds or just like things you did. The character we just went over training, like I can choose javelin solo. And with sparring, like I can choose to be focused on offense or defense. This is based on my stance. Like I can't get the best sparring because no one knows me or cares about me. So like I have to start with anyone for a time being. And there are workouts like running and swimming. And then gym. And then we can buy, sell stuff. I'm not going to go here because it takes up time. And there's leisure, hang around, play dice, board games, have fun. And there's miscellaneous, extra patrol, volunteer, extra guard, extra coaching, offer sacrifice. So we are first going to start off with solo practices. Yes, until we get to like solo practice. No, actually we're going to spar anyone. When you exercise too much, this bar will increase. Different colors show different levels of stress. You will slowly lose morale when your stress increases too high. You already train and work out as a part of your routine. In order to maintain your combat skills and shape, the exercises you select are extra training and workout sessions used to bring your skills and physical prowess beyond their current levels. Yep. You can reduce stress by not doing stuff. But I like to overwork and do stress. I didn't mean to do that. I like to get it to 50. Something happened. Your physical prowess gives you a significant advantage whenever you are sent to gather out firewood. You regularly perform better than average and even remedy your comrades' shortcomings. Your opinion centurion has increased by 2. The opinion of the troops has increased by 3. So that means people like me more. And that will give me access to better trainings later on. You are stuck with an especially aggressive sparring partner this morning. Decius has been in Hispania since long before your arrival. He is one of the survivors of last year's debacles. His blade has come dangerously close to your throat twice already. Even a wooden practice sword can be lethal when it's used like that. Complain. He stares at you for a moment. Whatever he was about to say, he seems to think better of it and raises his hand as an apology. As you get back to your practice, you are pleased to notice that he has adjusted his attitude. That's nice. Now I would like to get my sword to I think I got it to 50. What's my morale? It's fine. I think I should try to get my shield to 50. The winter is especially harsh. Without proper equipment, you'll have a hard time dealing with it. Buy some adequate clothing and sleeping gear for 25. You'll be far from comfortable, but at least you should be spared the worst. Shield. Okay, I need 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then leisure. Well, actually, you get free workouts, so I'm going to do running. Okay, I'm abysmal. But you know, I'm doing good. The camp bursts into activity as the whole army prepares to leave. This is the conquest screen, I guess you'll say. And then I'll continue. The next morning, your maniple is among the first to move out of the camp and reach the plain right in front of the city. If what your centurion said is true, the garrison of the New Carthage consists of a small mercenary army, possibly 1,000 strong, and of course the city militia. You are taking your place among the battlefield when all of a sudden cries of alarm rise from the ranks. You look ahead with a start. The city gate is wide open. A screaming mass numbering thousands leaves the safety of the walls, quickly closing the gap with your partially deployed first line. Judging by their scant equipment, they must be militia. The enemy commander wouldn't risk his precious mercenaries like this. Blood pounding in your ears, you get ready to receive them as the first of your battle. Life engulfs you. Alright. When the other side is at right distance, you prepare to hurl your first javelin. My javelin skill isn't high, so I'm just gonna throw it into the enemy ranks. You decide to play it safe and hurl your javelin into the general direction. What an embarrassing throw. Let's hope no one has noticed it. People noticed. As the other side gets closer and closer, you steel yourself for the oncoming fight. So this is a fight scene. I always start off with high attack. Well, actually, I start off with low defense and then just close in. And then I go high attack. First, we start with a feint. We kind of want to... So attack. Here are the stats. You can pause to read them if you'd like. But in general, this is health. This is like your stance. So like, if you're able to dodge or shrug off blows and such, this is your fatigue. We'll see. It's easier to show than explain. So I will go for a feint rather than attack because I want to lower this. I failed. We both go for feints. You see, I lower it. He tries to recover, he fails. I go for another feint. I lower it. He fails to recover. I go for a deft. I failed. He didn't recover. I'm gonna do it again. And now he has very low stance, and now I go for an attack. And see how all the percentages are high? Like, it's a wheel. In the toggle damage, you can see what does the most damage. I'm going for a neck shot. And I hit him. And he recovered. But it doesn't matter because I've already dealt the damage. Oh. And then I spend time to recover. I guess I really... I guess I really don't need to on these people. I don't really need to feint with them, I can just hit them. But usually you want to feint. The Carthaginian militia is in disarray. For a brief moment you stare at the bodies scattered across the ground, a few legionnaires, but the vast majority are militiamen. In the ensuing chaos, you barely have time to think about your first kill. An improvised pursuit is attempted, but your vanguard is stopped at the city gates before it can break in. The Centurion beckons to you and a couple of other legionnaires. You are to temporarily leave the mana pool and report back to the camp. When you arrive, you discover what's going on. You'll be a part of a 500-strong unit with very special tasks. Proconsul Scipio himself leads you away to the battle from the battlefield close to the edge of the lagoon, which runs along the northern portion of the city walls. Once there, he invites you to get into the lake. You look at each other into confusion. Surely he's not expecting you to swim to the walls. The local guides who are accompanying your party move forward with an amused expression on their face. The water is surprisingly shallow. At this time of day, the low tide allows you to walk to the other side. Here, the walls are completely undefended. As your companions prepare the ladders for an easy climb, you throw a look back at the opposite shore just in time to see the proconsul and his escort ride back to the battlefield. You scale the walls undisturbed and quickly move eastward along the battlements. Most of the defenders run away from you, but eventually you meet a small group intent on stopping your advance. Let's close in. Let's hit this boy with a headshot. He misses a feint. I go for another headshot. Okay, he misses, but I'm greedy, so I go. Now I go for torso shots. Yep. There is no time to dwell on what just happened. You rush forward along the rest of the assault team. Soon you reach the eastern gate, letting in the bulk of your legions. You follow your mana pool into the city streets. Your orders are very clear. Secure the city by killing everything that meets you in the open. Hopefully nobody will be so ill-considered. Your thoughts are interrupted when a small number of militiamen stand in your path. Alright, let's close in. Go right for the head. Go right for the head again. And then right for the torso. You look at the militiaman's lifeless body, and quick thoughts flicker through your mind. Pity. Drafted into service, forced to fight to defend his home, it does ring a bell. You wonder about the people waiting for him at home, never to see him come back. An officer yelling out orders brings you down to earth with a bump. You move on. You keep marching along the streets as is custom. Looting is strictly prohibited until the battle is over. New Carthage is almost conquered, but 500 mercenaries from the garrison are still holding the citadel. The proconsul is looking for volunteers for an assault on this last bastion. He's thrown in more than double loot share. These mercenaries are nothing like the militia you have been facing until now. They may not be the enemy's best troops, but they wouldn't have been left here if they weren't. But they are still professional soldiers. Only the most experienced legionnaires are volunteering. No one will blame you if you backed off. Volunteer. You step forward, taking your place among the other volunteers. Your newly assembled force makes its way to the citadel. The mercenaries are waiting for you in the open. Numbers are on your side, but they have the high ground. Alright. When the other side is at the right distance, you prepare to hurl your first jab and throw it randomly. You decide to play it safe. Yep, your javelin disappears into the ranks of the foe. You can't say what damage it caused, if at all, but it must have produced some confusion. As the other side gets closer and closer, you steel yourself for the incoming fight. Your enemy have the high ground. Your max stance is penalized by the adverse conditions. So we play this one a bit cheeky, because this is an extremely hard enemy. So we go for the arm cuts because it increases fatigue, and this is a very difficult enemy. So that's when I take the time to recover as well. You see how I move stances? I go from attack to defense to defensive. Okay, so we just sit here and chill for a bit. Uh-oh. Oof. A brief lull in the fight allows for your centurion to give the command to rotate. The line behind yours moves forward while you orderly fall back to the rear. From your current position, it's difficult to figure out what's going on. One after another, the rows before you fall back, and the centurion signals slowly. You find yourself once again at the front. Let's fucking sit here. Okay, let's try this. Fuck. I practically got our last 20 rounds with him. That fucking was terrifying. Come on, we need to get like a decent feint that he doesn't recover from. We are doing fine right here. And we held them off. Eventually the enemy formation starts breaking apart. Versuit panic spreads as their wavering turns into a rout. As at last the hopeless of their predicament prevails, the mercenaries are surrendering. New Carthage has fallen for the first time in so many years. A change in the tide of war appears within grasp. Your morale increases by 8. You receive your share of the loot. Your role in the Citadel assault is rewarded. Your army has obtained an important base of operations. The city's resources will be invaluable to the rest of the campaign. Your fighting in real battle has sharpened your skills. Your deeds have taken your skills one step further. In recognition of your efforts and achievements, you have been promoted to Tesserarius. Alright. Let's get back to training. Oh. We'll just keep pushing this. You are having a chat with Gavius, a Samnite auxiliary of the Pentry tribe. His people and yours used to be sworn enemies, with the last war ending not even a century ago. They are trusted allies. Gavius has been telling you about his home, so close to where the war against Hannibal is at its worst. You can't help but thinking of your home. Imperdible. You know you can help your home and family by doing your best here. And there's no other way. Okay, that's... fuck. Okay, and now this is a mini game where I'm sent out to go get resources. Oh, I'm ambushed. You walk straight into an ambush. Stones raining down all around you. Only your training and quick reflexes keep you safe. As abruptly as it began, as the attack ceases, slingers have left you. You prove to be a skilled fisherman. Between you and your men, you leave the brook with plenty of food. Collect from the villages. Prove to be skilled fishermen. You can probably head back now. Yep, so we just run all the way back. Try to avoid mountains. You've completed your mission to everyone's satisfaction. Experience sharpens your mind. Oh god, I have 0 morale. Workouts. Leisure. We'll have fun. Word is there is a talented weaponsmith near the camp. He makes individualized swords for a reasonable price. Pay him a visit. He isn't hard to find. When you inquire about his price, he explains that he works only on commission, requires 125 denarii, non-negotiable. Asks to see a few samples of his work. He promptly produces a sword from under the counter. After giving it a quick polish, he invites you to inspect it. The iron quality is rather average, but the sword seems to be well crafted. You appraise its balance and are very satisfied with the result. Leave. It is over a year since the capture of New Carthage. The wait is nerve-wracking. At last comes to the dreaded order. The assault begins. Apparently your skirmishers, the Veiltees, will have to engage the enemy light infantry holding the lower plateau. Picked units of heavy infantry are ordered to support them. That's certainly an unenviable task. With relief, you learn that your maniple will be kept in reserve. The frontal assault is underway. When the proconsul Scipio himself takes lead of half the remaining forces, as the Carthaginians are busy repelling your soldiers, he leads you around their position. You are climbing the slope at a fast pace when a small group of Numidian cavalrymen approaches and starts harassing you with their javelins. The terrain is far from propitious for cavalry attacks, but they're keen. They keep pressing you. Keep marching. Undisturbed, one of them throws a javelin straight at you. You are hit. At last they recall their attack and head away. As you reach the plateau, you shake off your wariness and prepare to fight. Looks like Hasdrubal has sent reinforcements to his first line, but they're only partially deployed and not clearly expecting you. You charge to the nearest group into the flank. When the other side is at the right distance, you prepare to hurl your first javelin. Just throw it. I hit someone as you steel yourself for battle. This dude's got football. Get those quick recovers in. Oof. Brutal. I keep going for the head. Eventually the enemy formation starts breaking apart. Very soon panic spreads. Alright, let's go. Attacked from all sides, the Carthaginian line is collapsing. Many are taken prisoner, but in the meantime the bulk of Hasdrubal's forces manage to escape. At last, you are ordered to plunder the enemy camp. You set to the task with renewed enthusiasm. Your morale is increased by 5. The enemy camp is a bit of a disappointment. It looks like the Carthaginians were able to take most of their valuables with them when they retreated. Split up and search some tents. You enter an apparently empty tent with Nasidius, a short, stout soldier with a permanent smirk, and start searching. After a while, your commander finds a finely crafted bracelet. Clearly, he intends to hand it over to Legion, and that's exactly what he's supposed to do. There's little more you can accomplish here. As Drupal is heading north, intent on crossing the Pyrenees with the remnants of his army, the proconsul refuses to pursue him, and many of the troops are frustrated with his decision, including yourself. The Carthaginians are captured and sold into slavery, and the revenue is shared among the troops. Scipio ordered the Celtiberian prisoners to be released. This will help secure more alliances with the local tribes. Fighting in a real battle sharpened your skills. Okay, I think I get us up to 70. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna play dice for a while. Yeah, I'm just gonna spam play dice. Gaius Antinius fell in a skirmish right after killing the enemy leader. A well-crafted sturdy helmet found among the spoils remained unclaimed. It is decided that the precious headgear will go up to the winner of a foot race. Anyone in the maniple care to join? I'll join. You step up to the starting line along with many other participants. You'll have to run a total of 3 laps. Keep a steady pace. A mediocre lap. You are in the middle group. Save your breath. You decided to save your strength for this lap. You may lose ground now, but you're going to have a small advantage later. A mediocre lap. You're in the middle group. Your strength is saved to give you an edge in the next lap. Sprint. You decided to give the sprint the best of your energies. A very good lap. You are steadily gaining ground. You are in the lead group. Finish line is so close. They are too fast for you, or maybe you were given too much already. Some of your rivals crossed the line before you. You did well. Some of your comrades can give you a pat on the back. Yeah, we're just gonna sit here. Well, first we're gonna get our 2 free workouts in. And then go back to leisure, play dice. Gaius Aegilius was a carpenter before the war. Like everyone else here, he has been away from home for a very long time. He is always complaining that the business he worked for his whole life went to the pot because of this. That he is speaking ill of the Centurion. Just let him be. This war has claimed many victims. Not all of them are physically killed. You let Aegilius enjoy the little freedom he has left. sent on patrol again. Your impressive skills seem to motivate the rest of the squad. When your third spring in this land so far away from home comes, Rome is in control of most of the eastern Hispania. Your progress has been admirable, but the war is still far from over. The time is of the essence, and your force march is almost beyond tolerable limits. With the invaluable help of some Celtiberian deserters, you eventually come close to the enemy position. What news of what's ahead starts spreading. You learn that there are two enemy camps, one composed of Celtiberian volunteers and the other Carthaginians. The first one seems to be much less defended and ideal for a point of attack, but Solanius wants to play it safe and is preparing more scouting teams to volunteer. A Velis named Calvius Aboris, a Celtiberian guide, will be your scouting team. Aboris knows the ground full well and lets you approach the enemy positions with minimal risk. When you are very close, you have to cross a stretch of land with poor cover in order to get a better look. Take the risk. Heart pounding, you try to move as quickly and silently as possible. You make it safely to the other side. You carefully commit to memory every detail about the weak links in the defenses of the Celtiberian camp, as well as the best approach. Judging by the number of tents and what you see, there are less than 10,000 men here. No more than half are scuttlery and heavy infantrymen. When you are satisfied, you signal the others that you can go back. You are about 1 mile from the camp, a gentle breeze stirring around the vegetation around you. For a moment, you think you heard something, but it's probably just the wind. After a while, you reach the valley where a bulk of your army is hidden and report what you've learned. Everything is ready now. It's time to approach the enemy camp and get prepared for the onslaught. The irregularity of the ground offers plenty of cover as your army approaches the Celtiberian camp. You're not very distant when you finally fighting comes into sight. The defenders must have just started pouring out of the camp. They are still too late. You were expecting a slower reaction. You suspect they might have been alerted when it detected some of your scouts. Fortunately, you have had a significant head start anyway. You seem to have a significant head start anyway. You'll meet a stronger resistance than you expected, but they shouldn't be able to stop you in the end. The ground is very difficult here, and it's disrupting your formation. Like many others, you become separated from your manable while passing through a patch of undergrowth. An enemy vanguard reaches you, and right at this time, many duels spark off. One of the Celtiberian troops is looking at you, ready to fling his spear. Anticipate him with your own javelin. Your missile falls wide off the mark. You prepare for his response. Once again, your shield saves your life. Alright, let's go. I got my boy here, but I'm just the better player, so... Nice. Your naval quickly reforms and prepares to meet a second wave. The Carthaginian light infantry is rushing to the aid of the Celtiberians, filling in their gaps in their formation. When the other side is on the right distance, you prepare to hurry your first javelin throw. I fail. Everyone's disappointed in me. Got it. Holy shit. I'm gonna do that. Damn, of course I miss. I'm gonna do it again. Damn. I'm gonna recover. Oop, I'm gonna recover it. I guess I'll recover again too. I'm gonna do the shield thing again. I'm gonna do it again. That's when we go for the neck. That's when we go for the... We get a nice recover, allow him to recover. We deft. Then we deft again. Then we deft again. Go for the neck. Then we go for that. Then we go for the arm. We go for the neck again. Oh. We go for the arm. We go for the arm. We go for the arm. Going ballsy with all these fucking attacks. Oh damn, holy shit, didn't expect to actually kill him. Inexperienced, don't matter. Oh my lord, he's dead. He's been butchered. Look at him, oh my. Gone. Another one. Don't let me fucking keep you here. What remains of the enemy scatters before your advance. Your army occupies the first camp and captures Hanno himself. Meanwhile, the Carthaginians have left the other base, withdrawing to the safety of their cities in the west. It may look like a small victory, but your early intervention prevented a far greater danger from arising. Let's go. Something has caused a stir through the camp. Actually, you find out, you heard a cheer, jubilation, then you find out big news from Rome. Hasdrubal's Barca army, which crossed the Pyrenees last year after escaping you, was finally intercepted in Italia by two consular armies before he could join with his brother Hannibal to further to the south. His army was annihilated near the River Materius as Hasdrubal himself died fighting alongside his men. Hannibal is isolated now, and Rome has never been so safe since he crossed the Alps. When you embarked years ago, all this seemed next to impossible. The revelry goes on for a long time. You are escorting an ambassador of Scipio's to a meeting with a local chieftain. The talks are not going well. A palpable tension is cutting in. Try to help cut in. The interpreter is glaring at you, refusing to translate what you just said. You awkwardly back off, avoiding the ambassador's eyes. You stay quiet to the end of the meeting. Oh well. We give it a shot. We're gonna do another leisure. Have fun again, and then we're just gonna play dice. Today is a day of extensive drill. The Centurion and their Optians are hard-pressed to make the Manipules execute a complex maneuver. It involves wheeling to the left and rotation to the right and advances a column, then wheeling to the left once more to form a battle line. Half of the times you are asked to do the opposite. Step in and see if you can help. What kind of approach will you take? Be assertive. You are of no help. Eventually the Centurion snaps. You are overstepping your authority. You can't but fall in line. The drills go on for hours, but still the Maniple can't quite get the maneuver down. I got some money. I'm gonna do my job. You have found not many supplies. You expected to vary more. This is certainly suspicious. Look harder. You are right to be suspicious. After a careful search, you find a well-hidden stack of provisions. Without warning, a group of Centauri tree emerges from the surrounding trees. No sooner than you would have realized you are under attack than you see their heavy iron javelins flying towards your group. You manage to protect yourself in time. They are closing now. They may be irregular light troops, but their numbers are on their side. Oh, you mean they just take a fucking... Are you shitting me? Does it mean they take a headshot? Apparently they don't take headshots. Apparently I'm just full of shit. Yo, so apparently they take headshot. Yo, just kill me. Yo, so apparently they just take headshots, right? Apparently. They just take them for breakfast. Easy. Get out of my fucking way. Assault wavers against the discipline stand of your troops. At last, they are thrown into disarray and chased off. Your men manage to cut down a few, but most are able to get away. You completed your mission. Everyone's satisfied. Oof. You hate to see it. So 3 is the max. Hasdrubal, Gisco, and Margot Barca, Hannibal's younger brother, are leading the remaining armies of Carthage in this theater. They have joined forces set on dealing with you once and for all. Your army is busy building its camp across the broad plain that separates you from the Carthaginians. A large cavalry host comes forward from the other side, trying to take you by surprise. To their dismay, they find out that Scipio hid his own cavalry behind a hill. The sudden counterattack stalls and assailants for a while, but the fight is in the balance. Soon your maniple is sent out the back for your horsemen to stop. I said some words there. Your cavalry has been slowly taking the ground, thanks to your support. As yet another charge brings chaos to both sides, a Numidian rides in front of your ranks with a clear intent to provoke an attack. These horsemen are considered among the best in the world. They were key to Hannibal's many victories in the early years of the war, and all of your compatriots who have met them on the battlefield will learn to respect them. Come forward to meet him in single combat. A roar rises from your companions as you prepare to face the Numidian charge. It's almost enough to cover the profanities of your centurions shouting at you for leaving your place. Rely on your sword. You're skillful, deflect as his lunge. He rides past you, but your weapon is too short to counteract effectively. He acknowledges your boldness with the motion of his head and pulls away. You stare at him for a moment, then run back to the safety of your maniple. The skirmish goes on for a long time, but at the end of the camp, the Carthaginians have to give up and ride back to their camp. Nothing else relevant happens. Vanquished enemies. The day has come. The voices of officers giving orders and the sound of marching feet fill the air as your columns leaves the camp. All your efforts over the last 4 years are at stake today. Your maniple takes its position on the battlefield. If you ever fail here, this vast plain is the last place you'll ever see. The legions of Rome and the Italic Aelie are in the center. Your local allies, the light troops in the wing. When the dust settles, you see the distant enemy. Hasdrubal Gisco adopted a similar approach. With his heavy infantry in front of you, his elephants stand like towers in the front of his Hispanian allies on the wings. You wait in silence. You have to trust your fellow soldiers. If at any point they panic or break formation, then it is lost. No matter what you do, you try not to dwell on it. The wait seems to go on forever. Minutes pass, then hours. Neither general gives the signal to advance. The sunset approaches. You see the motion ripple through the enemy front. They are not advancing, though. They are going back to their camp. Soon after, the same orders are given to you. You march back with a mix of relief and frustration. The following day, the scene repeats itself, then the day after, and so on. For several days, the Carthaginians always deployed first, their heavy infantry in the center, and you follow soon after, mirroring their arrangement. You can't help but wonder what Scipio was up to. He displayed plenty of initiative and acumen in New Carthage and Beculae. He's merely responding to Hasdrubal's moves. There must be something, you can't quite put your finger on it. Then one morning, you're all awakened sooner than usual. The order is to have breakfast and prepare to march out. Something is off. The position of your legion is outgoing. In the outgoing column, you'll end up in the wing rather than the center. Things are starting to make sense. Very shrewd. Your cavalry and skirmishers are harassing the Punic camp, forcing Hasdrubal Gisco to respond and deploy in a hurry. Both armies are fully positioned. The dust is not settled yet, but you are quite sure that you're facing the enemy light infantry now rather than their heavy elite troops. This time there will be no turning back. Scipio himself takes command of your wing. You wheel to the right, then turn left 3 times. Lines have become columns. Your maniple loses cohesion for a moment and comes close to disarray. Not very reassuring. Your senior officers quickly regain control, though. As a column, you can advance much faster than usual. You can see that the other wing on the left is also made of heavy footmen, is doing the same. The line formed by your Hispanian allies in the center is moving forward at a slower pace. You are now close enough to the Carthaginian left wing. You wheel to the right once more, then turn around and face them in a usual formation. You have been too fast for them to react properly. Their elephants are being driven away by your skirmishes. At last you are ordered to advance. Not only are you going to face light troops, but you know the enemy had no time to eat this morning. Because of your surprise attack, you have a huge advantage in the long run. When the other side is at the right distance, you prepare to hurl your first javelin. Just fucking wing it. Yep, we hit. Oof. You're fucking kidding me. Alright, let's just get this out of the way. Damn. Let's play defensive. Just for a little bit we play defensive. Come on, recover. Go back on the offensive. We got this. Just gonna keep swinging. Just keep swinging. You have weakened them enough, pinned down by your Hispanian allies in the center, and the African infantry can't come to the aid of these Citrati. There is no reason to expose yourselves more than necessary. You are ordered to step back and let the Principess take over. Very soon the wings of the Punic front start to collapse, forcing them unprotected to fall to the front. As Rubel Gisco manages to rally what he can of his fleeing army and forms a new defensive line along the hills closest to his camp, he has lost too many troops, however, and their morale must be shaky at best. Your army is waiting at the bottom of the hill when the signal to attack comes through. You're fairly outnumber the Punics now. This won't take long. The enemy is weak and there's no reason to put your life at risk. You would notice if you held back. Fight and don't spare yourself. I'm ready. Yo, never mind. These are the boys we have to relax on. Because they dick, I feel. Oh my fucking god. The arm hits do a decent amount, I'm telling you. You gotta get a couple arm hits in. The disheartened Carthaginians give way after a brief clash, but your chase is nipped in the butt when a sudden downpour overwhelms the battlefield. There's no choice but to go back to camp. Some of the soldiers are wondering out loud why the gods are protecting the Punics. You make it back at last. All you need to do, you need all the rest you can get. Most of the local allies deserted the Carthaginians soon after the battle, as Rubel Gisco and the remainder of his army fled during the night. Scipio leads you in pursuit. They are close to the sea when you finally entrap them. What follows is nothing more than butchery. Your maniple isn't even involved as the outnumbered Punics are slaughtered. The few thousand evade the bloodbath. They entrench themselves on the top of the nearby hills. You lay siege to them and wait. They won't last long without water. When they surrender, there's no trace of Hasdrubal and Mago. They made their escape, but it matters little and it's over. Carthage's presence in Hispania is all but obliterated. A few months later, the last fortress of Gades surrenders without a fight. When you arrived 4 years ago, 3 large armies were keeping Hispania under Carthage's thumb. Now this land is firmly in the hand of Rome. You embark once again, this time heading home after such a long time in the army. You can't wait to see your family. And yet your new life at home is not what you anticipated. Maybe it is the people who are different, or maybe it's just you. What you saw, what you got used to, you can't shake the feeling that something is amiss now. Scipio is back, too. Many Roman citizens regard the young general as a hero after the astounding victory in Hispania, and he is elected consul. After a long debate, Scipio is allowed to carry out his plan to invade Africa, the vast land beyond the sea to the south, dominated by the city of Carthage itself. He is given command of the legions in Caesarea. They are composed of the survivors of Cannae, confined to the island until the end of the war as a punishment, doomed to a long-lasting exile with someone else's ruinous blunder. The new consul is forbidden to levy any more legionnaires, but volunteers are permitted to enlist. You travel to Sicilia by sea with Scipio himself and thousands of other volunteers. From there, the consul intends to launch an invasion of Africa that will hopefully end this war once and for all. You join the existing 2 legions and begin long months of training and preparations leading to the new final departure. However small, your reputation with the consul carries you significant weight with your senior officers. In recognition of effort, I'm an Optio now. First things first. Among the camp's followers, there's a woman who claims to be a seer. For 2 denarii, they will predict your future. Don't pay her a visit. You don't trust these geniuses, blah, blah, blah. Play a little to get rid of those. Epidus is boasting about his wrestling skills like he usually does. He asks anyone who would take a challenge to him today. He is no taller than average, but he's built like a boar. I'll rise to the challenge. Citronius will act as the referee. The rules are simple. Every time your opponent falls on his back or side, steps out of the square, or gives up, you score a point. If you score 3 points, you win. Punches and kicks and bites are forbidden. You are at the center of the square, ready to start. Push him out of the square right away. Your direct assault surely took him by surprise. Citronius stops you as Epidus' feet touch the ground beyond the border of the square. You scored a point. You have 1 point. What will you do now? Use your speed and wits to outmaneuver him. He grabs you. Bend his leg with your foot. You hook the back of his knee with one of your foot and pull. He releases you and narrowly manages to keep his balance. This doesn't count as a point, but you can try something else. Use your speed again. You succeed in avoiding him for a while, but soon he'll have you cornered. Try to catch him off balance. You strike him off guard and bring him to the ground. You have 2 points, he has 0. What will you do? Push him to the square, out of the square right away. Try with a standard grip. You grab hold of each other and try to overturn your opponent. Suddenly attempts to lift you. You hold on as he desists from his attempt. You have 2 points, you have 0. Push him straight out of the square. Your direct assault surely took him by surprise. You scored a point. You have 3 points, he has 0. You are the winner. A small crowd of soldiers gather around the square chanting your name. You have thrashed a remarkable opponent. Epidus admits you're one of the best wrestlers he's ever faced. And we just spam sword fighting. We still have high morale. We have 80 sword. We just want to bump that up as much as possible. Keep us killing. Scipio Zero's consul is over, but he is given proconsular authority to carry out his plans. A thick fog enfolds the fleet in the afternoon. There are many glum faces among your comrades. You are going into the lion's den after all. Cheer them up. You do your best to keep up morale. You manage to take their minds off what's waiting for you on the other side of the sea for at least a little while. At dawn, the fog is no longer there. Later, you finally catch the sight of the African coast. The land not far from the city is Utusia. Utusia. After spending a few days strengthening your position, you are ready to take action. Your first raids through the surrounding countryside meet little to no resistance. Eventually, the detachment your man temple is part of comes across a modest town. Your next target, it is surrounded by a tall fence, although calling it a wall would be an overstatement. I'll lead the assault. You are among the first to climb the fence. 5 years ago, you took part in the successful storming of New Carthage. This is nothing by comparison. That's what you keep telling yourself. Before you reach the top, 2 militiamen try to stop you. Okay, watch how Optio does this shit. Damn. The ease and speed at which you've dispatched these militiamen are impressive. The defenders are giving way in several places along the fence. Very soon there's no resistance left. The town is yours to sack. The troops are busy looting all around you. You see a couple of suitable places to start. Into the house on your left. There's nobody inside as it looks someone left in a hurry. What can be taken is carried outside. Then you open a trap door and the floor descends into a poorly lit cellar. Some light is flittering through the slits in the top wall. 2 other soldiers are with you. You can hear an almost noticeable noise from behind a couple of empty barrels. Saying nothing, you get closer. You see 2 kids hiding there. Before you can react, a loud sound from the other side of the cellar makes you turn around. A woman comes out of her hiding place. She's surrendering to you. You meet her gaze. You know she knows you discovered her children behind the barrels. Her eyes are begging you not to reveal what you found. Grant her wish. You are deeply affected by this woman's sacrifice. When she understands that her children are safe, she quietly lets the other soldiers take her upstairs, even though she must know she's going to be sold into slavery like the rest of the prisoners. Leave something for the kids. To make sure that You make sure to leave food somewhere where they can see it, enough for them to survive until they find refuge. You leave the ghost town behind and bring the prisoners and the valuables to your camp. 2 days have passed. Your group is ambushed on its way to another raid. The Tubisian places trump to call for help. You have to hold on until the nearby cavalry comes to the rescue. A volleys of spears rain down on your right flank. Your prompt reaction keeps you safe. You must repel them. Go for their leader. Before you can reach him, 2 men are in your way. Oh my god, why do I just not hit these like 80% headshots? What is going on? Yo, this is absolute fucking insanity. Holy shit. There's no chance to rest. Do you still want to go after their leader? Yes. He coldly stares at you as you approach. Arm attacks because they're fucking free. Okay, I gotta recover. Clean. As soon as you kill their leader, your comrades force the enemy skirmishers to fall back. You gain some respite, but it's not over yet. A large unit of heavy spearmen is closing in on you. Your Tubison keeps calling the cavalry. By the gods, where are they? After you killed the skirmishers leader, your unit had time to reposition itself to a more favorable ground. Once again, you get ready to repel assault. Yep, just throw some javelins. You temporarily have to take the Centurion's point. I accidentally skipped the dialogue before it. It's just like if you're an Optio, sometimes you have to be a Centurion because something happens. kind of insane I missed that next shot. Just gonna sit here and get my free hits in. Out here getting these free kills. Damn, I didn't get to kill him. Even above the noise of the battle, you can hear hoofbeats approaching. Your cavalry's finally coming. The skirmishes disperse immediately and pay a heavier toll while the spearmen disengage and carry out the orderly retreat to safety. You are too tired to conduct pursuit. It seems your rescuers were in turn delayed by another ambush. You get moving again, but the rest of the day is essentially uneventful. The first days of the raiding went smoothly. Your position is solid and you gather a fair amount of slaves and loot. Spirits are high now. There's no one's forgetting that you are outnumbered here. So close to Carthage, the real campaign is about to begin. Your brave action against the leader and light of the enemy infantry is rewarded. Centuro Postero. The arrival of the precious allies brought great enthusiasm. Masinisia is a Numidian tribal leader engaged in a war of succession with Siphax, the current king of his people. In exchange for Rome's support, he swore to help you against Carthage. You remember he fought against you in Hispania. Apparently, such trivialities are easily set aside when larger concerns are at stake. His superb horsemen will be a valuable asset. Every time the Centaur Prior is not present and you have to command the monopoly, he knows he can rely on you completely. Today, you're escorting a quaestor in his daily routine near the camp. He is an elected public officer of senatorial rank. He is very close to the commander himself. Try to socialize and win over his friendship. You are a good talker and the quaestor appreciates your company. You discuss the country you are stationed in and the ongoing war effort. You even learn news about current situation in Rome. Slave bumps into you and falls. Make sure he's alright. He apologized to you and help him get on your feet. Your kindness seems to catch him off guard. Suddenly you notice something unusual among his stuff. You thought you heard a strange noise when it fell on the ground. He was hiding a fair amount of money. If he is not a slave, report the thief, have him arrested. You caught red-handed. There's not so much you can do. A bunch of soldiers drag him away. A gruesome death awaits. I'm trying to get 90 swordsmen. I think it's actually 91 I want. There's a large villa here surrounded by farms. A small party greets you. It's led by a man in his middle years. He is wearing a nicely crafted short chainmail. You can tell at a glance he is a master of this place. He addressed you with a mix of Latin and Punic. The nobleman whose name is Hilmaco challenged you to a duel. If you win, your men will leave this place empty-handed. Not that it makes much of a difference to you once you are dead. He is no longer in his prime. He is very confident in his skills. You can rest Assured that this would be a very hard fight, face him in single combat. He smiles as he gets ready. He notices you staring at his chainmail. He pats on it and explains it's a trophy his father took from a Roman he killed at the Bagrad's River more than 50 years ago. That's when the Spartan mercenary general Xanthippus defeated Attilius Regulus and thwarted the first Roman attempt to invade Africa. You set aside the history lesson and focus on the fight at hand. I should have went for the arms. Yeah, I had to play the long game on this dude. Oh, never mind. I guess I'll just kill him that easily. Viewing equipped, damage protection, anti-armor. Where? Himiko is dead, his mansion is yours to pillage. You have walked straight into an ambush. Only your training and reflexes. As it abruptly ends, it's over. You got some food. I gotta travel on the outside because that's way too many forests. You have been besieging Utica for some time, but the city is holding out proudly against your vice grip. Meanwhile, your spies report a relief army left Carthage to the southeast. It is led by an old acquaintance of yours, Asdrubal Gisco, the general you defeated near Illippa 2 years ago. He is not alone. King Syphax of Numidia has joined with him in reinforcements. Their combined armies form an imposing force, even larger than yours. Scipio commands to abandon the siege, to retreat to a fortified camp on an easy-to-defend promontory. They wouldn't dare to attack when you have high ground. Damn, we're almost there. Negotiations taking place between Scipio and the enemy leaders. Some believe the proconsul is trying to buy time. Few would admit, but the combined armies of Drupal and Syphax could more than handle you. An uneasy truce descends while both forces are encamped in the vicinity of Utica. A couple of days later, a delegation is preparing to leave for Syphax's camp. You and several other centaurs have been selected for an unusual mission. You'll disguise as servants and go with the envoys, trying to observe and learn as much as possible of the enemy's weaknesses. The journey to King Syphax's camp is short and uneventful. As the talk go on, you set to your vital task. Warned about the camp, take risks to learn as much as possible. You manage to see much of the camp without ever raising suspicion. You even make a few friends among the Numidians, no matter how little you communicate. You learn a great deal about the disposition of the camp, its vulnerabilities, the exits, the guard duties, how the guard duty is arranged, how long it would take to reach Asdrubal's camp. Several days have passed, and the embassies keep visiting the Numidians. The negotiations never amount to anything concrete. Scipio summons a war council. After sunset, his tribunes lead you to Cassius Corner, your large fortified encampment. This night, as well as any other, you are in the vicinity of the enemy position. Part of the whole force is assigned to Laelius, Scipio's second command. He and Masinissa will lead the attack to the Numidian camp. Once setting fire to the easily flammable hutch, you partake in the assault on the other camp where the Carthaginians are based. You don't have to wait long before the first fires appear and quickly spread throughout the large camp of Syphax. Even from here, you can perceive the disasters befalling your enemies. Many Carthaginians leave their camp and hurry towards their allies' positions, probably not realizing that this is happening, that what is really happening. You aren't just entering them, they are unarmed and in disarray. The butchery begins. This is no different than what Hannibal did to your compatriots at Lake Trasimene. Part of your mind keeps saying that. Why did you feel so sick then? The first wave is soon obliterated. Now the gates are left unattended. You break into the camp. Before you can set fire to the nearby cabins, a bunch of Zimmermen try to bring you to a halt. You fall upon them like hungry wolves. Alright. It's time to fall on them like hungry wolves. Easy money. Let's just spite. Survivors disperse. You set fire to the buildings close at hand, then pull out and wait for the inevitable. The flames are devouring the enemy base in front of you. A large crowd attempts to leave through the gates at once. Many are crushed by their own companions. One of those who get through, some are taken prisoner, and countless others are put to the sword. You intercept a small clutch of people trying to sneak away in the shadows. There are 5 men, their faces and cloths covered in soot and blood. They are scared and unwilling to fight. Their leader is a man in his 40s. Even under the dirt, you can see his clothes and do not belong to a common person. His manners are typical of a man used to commanding obedience. You have a hunch he is someone important. The Centurion seems inclined to have them killed and be done with it. Tell him your suspicions. For a minute, he thinks about what you said. At least he nods and says he won't hurt to take a closer look. When there is time, on his order, the troops immobilize the Carthaginians and carrying them where they can be kept in check. The slaughter goes on for many hours. At dawn, you contemplate the full extent of your catastrophe you have inflicted upon your enemies. The huge combined forces that threaten to take you down is no more. Their losses number in the tens of thousands. Hasdrubal and Syphex are not among the prisoners. At first, they are believed to have died in the fires, but soon you are hearing persistent rumors claiming that they are both still alive. Many spoils are salvaged from the ruins of the camp, and as always, everyone gets their share. The important looking man you capture turns out to be a senator of Carthage. Your leaders are very pleased with such a high profile hostage. You have dealt a severe blow to Carthage. The end of the war is getting near. You are awarded a decoration for your outstanding intelligence work in the Numidian camp. Let's try to get those last 2 sword skills after we do a lull. You just left the village behind and the sound of hoofbeating coming fast set your hearts racing. Confusion reigns as you vainly attempt your party together. A small band of horsemen charges into an opening loosened from mercy. There's a loud thump when you turn a spearhead aside with your shield. There is intensive training. Finally, one of your companions close ranks before the attackers can regroup. One of your own is still on the ground, his lifeless eyes stared into the sky. The Carthaginian have a cavalry are few in number. They come to a halt and watch you from a distance. A frontal charge when they are ready would be suicidal, and they know it. They shadow you for a while, but won't dare to attack. At last, they give up the chase. The patrol is chasing a group of unarmed people you've seen from afar. They're probably trying to sneak away from your army with their most valuable possessions. After a while, you stumble upon something unexpected. A Numidian warrior is lying unconscious on the ground, bleeding from a nasty cut on his side. He is one of Masinissa's men, but his horse is nowhere to be seen. This means there are at least some enemies about. Splitting up, you already Splitting up your already small group is not an option. If you want to save him, you have to give up the chase in this respect. Take him back to save his life. As you command your troops to try to stop the bleeding and carry him back, wherever your army is encamped. Your superiors approve of your choice. The friendship of Masinissa and his Dominion faction is paramount importance for the success of the campaign. The scout will recover, although he won't be able to fight from saddle for a long time. Damn, I didn't get a single sword. We were here for not a long time, I feel like, as Drupal managed to convince Syphax not to give up on the war effort. With the display of an enviable tenacity, he also raised another levy of soldiers. More interestingly, they were joined by 4,000 battle-seasoned Celtibrian mercenaries. You can volunteer to scout the surrounding area if you wish. I do. You leave the camp with Publius Arius. Your introspective mate doesn't talk much. You meet nothing noteworthy apart from the occasional bit of local fauna. You are emerging from a patch of undergrowth when you see a Carthaginian soldier across a shallow brook right in front of you. He looks very young and nervous. He winces the moment he sees you and takes a couple steps back. Two more are about 30 steps behind him. They must be a part of his Drupal's most recent levy. Scare him off with a display of swordship. It is enough to break his nerve. He drops his round shield and runs away. His two fellows imitate him almost immediately. Arius grins and gives you a pat on the back. You return to your camp and report what you saw. It's time to get some rest. The next day, a large skirmish flares up when Scipio leads the cavalry to harry the Punics and their allies. At first, you are holding the ground in support of the more mobile forces, but chaos ensures as the enemy launches a counterstrike. Light infantry is harassing your left flank, pinning you down. Ahead to your right, you notice a group of retreating Velatites. They are in serious trouble. One of them lies on the ground, a grievous leg wound preventing him from fleeing. Two of his companions are desperately trying to hold off 5 Numidian soldiers. Velites are skirmishers poorly equipped for hand-to-hand combat. They are about to succumb. Leave the formation and run out to their assailants. You cover the sword distance as fast as you can. The Numidians shift their attention to you. Yo, they're veterans. They usually wear fucking armor, holy shit. Yo, I'm just carving through them like a fucking butcher. Holy shit. Judging by the rage which they fought, they must have been survivors of the fires near Utica. You can be sure they weren't green recruits. 2 of the Velicites are dead. The one with leg wounds is a sole survivor. He looks at his dead companions, partly because of their demise and partly because of what you did. He turns to you and whispers something that is lost in the noise of battle. There is no time to waste. You carry him on your shoulders and hurry back to the relative safety of your maniple. You make it just in time before you are run over by a Carthaginian horseman. The Velis, whose name is Avidius, thanks you profusely for saving his life. The deed you performed today is prestigious. Your cavalry redresses the balance of the skirmish. When the fighting dies out, you retreat from the vast plain and up your hill as your adversaries do the same. You are rewarded with it for saving the life of a Roman citizen in battle, killing an enemy and holding the ground afterwards. The next 2 days are spent on erratic skirmishes. On the first days, you watch the scanty fights from the hill. On the second, your maniple is called to move down. Once again, opposite you, there is a unit of Celtiberian mercenaries. They haven't seen much action until now, but even in a few clashes they have been involved. They have proved to be high-quality troops, better than The average professionals. That Hasdrubal Gisco managed to secure their help even in Roman-controlled Hispania is a testament to his brilliant organizational skills. You are facing each other in silence. In the distance, you see their chieftain, an intimidating-looking warrior on his chainmail. Challenge the chieftain to single combat. You step forward and issue your challenge. He accepts with a howl of defiance. As he spirits forward, his spear flies at an alarming speed, but you skillfully deflect it. Alright, let's see if I can do this. This is where we sit and go for arm hits. Maybe we go for neck hits. Easy, easy, easy. Chopping up the body. What can I say? Compare, of course. Where? A group goes up from the ranks. Your maniple, you have defeated an impressive enemy. Impressive foe today. Nothing relevant happens until the two begin sounds of retreat. Once more, two sides return to their camp. It is the 5th day since your arrival. This time, both armies are fully deployed. You stand at the center along with the bulk of the heavy infantry. The Hastati form a line in front of you. Laelius commands the Italic cavalry on your right. He faces Scyphix Numidians. Their cavalry has been greatly reduced after the surprise attack near Utica. Their infantry is mostly composed of hastily recruited peasants. Your left wing is under Masiniss's control. His own Numidian cavalry is facing Hasdrubal's right wing, composed of Carthaginian horsemen. Having seen Masiniss's men in action, you don't envy the Punics. Your Hastati engage the enemy center. You can't see what's happening, but eventually they retreat and your line replaces them on the front. You can't be sure, but in the distance it seems your cavalry is pushing back the opposite wings. With luck, this battle won't last much longer. Anyway, the Celtiberian mercenaries in front of your maniple require your full attention. When the other side is at the right distance, you hurl your first javelin. For a brief moment, you have a good line of sight. Pick off the enemy officer. Not a bad throw, but it misses the intended target. Just gonna sit here and hit the chest like a professional soldier, get these kills. Easy kills, none of this. All this fake shit. Just keep hitting the chest. Nice. Get the last kill. There's a lull in the fighting. You might be able to take your chance to fall back and recover this turn. You are expected to lead your soldiers in the battle for as long as possible. I will not fall back. I do not want to fall back. Yeah, we definitely sit here and recover though from that. Very easy fight. Let's go back to hitting arms. The SWTOR are resisting, one might almost say heroically. Everyone else in the army gave way. With nowhere to flee in this foreign land, no chance to obtain a pardon from Scipio, they fight to the last man as they're surrounded and exterminated. Their sacrifice gives part of the enemy the opportunity to escape. Cyphix has fled and is heading to his own kingdom. With the remnants of his army. His troop was going back to Carthage. Hilalius and Masinissa are sent after the Numidian king. They take a large cavalry force and many light troops. Your legions stay with Scipio. Carthage no longer has an army that can face you in pitched battle. Actually, there is one. Right now it is camped in Italia. It has been there for 15 years. Hannibal's. Yep. This part of the country is at the mercy of Rome's legion. Several cities surrender without a fight. Not every city, though. The one in front of you stands defiantly against your besieging. Today, you'll storm the city walls. Wherever you look, men are building ladders, getting right. Have your say. Your rank carries weight. They listen to you. The ladders are ready. Only the field test will tell if evaluations are right or wrong. You advance toward the city. The assaults begin. Defenders do what they can to thwart your actions as the ladders are propped up against the wall. Their length may not be perfect, but they'll do. The first man over the wall will receive a moral crown, one of the most highly regarded awards in the army. As a senior centurion and the man of fire, you should count on the help of your men. Go for the mural crown. Try to be the first over the wall. Your men are helping, but they don't seem too eager to take it. Climb at breakneck speed, disregard your personal safety. You trip up, missiles rain down from the ramparts. Only your impressive skills keep you unharmed. You've almost reached the top. A bunch of defenders is ready to repel you. Fighting from the position is going to be extremely difficult. As soon as the last enemy is dispatched at the top of the wall of security, you look around. No one else has made it to the top yet. You are the first. The last remaining resistance is broken. The city is yours to take. Your reward with the Merle Crown along with a magnificent prize. The recent sack of the enemy camp. You also heard Cyfox is captured. He was on a horse while leading a desperate attack in Layla's Administration's army in SWTOR, the capital city of his king. Carthage lost his most valuable ally. Okay, I have the good, what I want. Now we go. You Manipul meets a large party of Libyan spearmen. Their leader, a barrel-chested officer, keeps taunting you. He's trying to provoke you into a fight. He and his men are holding the high ground, and a frontal assault will cost you a lot and benefit little. If the guy has half his skills, he's confident. Challenge him to a duel on even ground. He certainly seems eager to accept. He descends to meet you halfway. You can't help but notice he's surprisingly agile. Instead of his spear, he's holding a large axe. Easy. The officer looks at you in shock right before collapsing. The spearmen are devastated by the loss of their bold leader. They retreat in silence while your Manipul celebrate. Soldiers see you as a reliable and just leader. Didn't mean to do that. Falcidius is juggling 3 daggers to entertain you and the rest of the troops as you stand there around the campfire. You may not be the most disciplined legionary you ever met, but he sure is dexterous. Just enjoy the show and relax. You welcome a break after Falcidius' little number. You spend the rest of the evening telling tales of home. Despair is pushing Carthage to superfeast once more. An armistice is arranged for a time. It seems negotiations may succeed. It doesn't last. When a large number of Roman transports are scattered by a storm along the coast near Carthage and Punic fleet is sent to capture them, the Roman envoys are asking for the return of their first, set upon by an angry mob, then almost killed on the way back. At the same time, Hannibal and his army are recalled to Africa. After 15 years, he is leaving Italica. This may be great news for your fellow citizens in Rome, but you have mixed feelings about it. Rome's most fearsome, cunning enemy is coming after you. No matter how weak and tired he may be, he is still the man who struck fear in the hearts of people for so long. One consolidation is the way the Punics think of Scipio is not much different by now. If anyone can stop Hannibal, it's him. One of your tribunes commends you. Okay, one more. There Persistent rumors that Hasdrubal killed himself in Carthage before his own people could execute him. Apparently the situation is getting more and more tense in the Punic capital. Okay, that's good. That's what I want. You are just a few days' march from Carthage. You don't know Hannibal's exact location, only that he must be close. All seems quite quiet as you patrol the area near the camp. Eventually, you have to split from your party. Go up the sneaking path to the left that is littered with oaks and shrubs. You are about to give up. There is nothing to be found in when a bunch of leaders call for the rest of you. They find a man hiding in a large shrub. He doesn't want to speak, but he surrenders immediately. Take him back with you. 2 more spies are captured before Scipio. To everyone's astonishment, he treats them as free men and even instructs the tribunes to throw them around the camp. When their tour is complete, the Punic spies are seen departing, attended by an escort of all things. A few days later, you are breaking camp and moving closer to Zama. Rumors are rife that Hannibal wants to meet with Scipio and reason in person and talk peace. Whether he's doing so out of curiosity after the magnanimous treatment of his scouts, or whether because something they saw during the uncustomary visit, you have no idea. You stop near a town called Naragara. Always you start building your camp on an easily defendable position. The Carthaginians set their camp less than 4 miles away. Another day goes by. Scipio leaves camp with a bodyguard of picked horsemen. From your high observation point, you watch them ride slowly towards the meeting place. They join a similar group coming from the opposite camp. When they are close enough, most of the riders stop. 2 figures come from each group, advance towards each other. The 2 commanders and their interpreters. You have no idea which is which from this far. All you see is 4 barely distinguishable dots. One of those dots is a man that shook your world to its foundations. The meeting goes on for a while. The fate of the millions depends on the unraveled words they are trading. Then the 4 dots separate and rejoin their escorts, riding back to their respective camps. Too soon, way too soon, you have reached an agreement. You see the apprehension of the faces of those standing next to you. When Scipio gets backwards, spreads quickly through the camp, there will be battle tomorrow. Disappointed. There's more bloodshed. At least you have a chance to make sure it's the last. The days come ahead. Your army is fully deployed on the battlefield. The principes to which you belong stand in center of the rest of the infirmary. The Hastati form a line in front of you, and like the unusual checked pattern, the gaps between each of their maniples are exactly in front of the gaps between yours. Also, the gaps filled in the velites. Usually, these skirmishers developed in front of the heavy infantry. Behind you, the terrari are disposed in a similar arrangement. The continuous line of men up ahead blocks your view. You cannot see anything of the enemy except for the elephants. Hannibal is positioned as a huge beast in the middle, right there in front of your group. Your wings are protected by the cavalry as usual. Massinissa leads the Numidian warriors on the right, while Wallace is in command of your Italic Soci on the left. You wait. There's nothing you can do. The lulls interrupted when the elephants begin the advance. You wonder how it must feel to be to the soldiers in the first line when the large animals are close enough. A deafening noise arises from it. Every side of horn and trumpet in the hands of your cavalry is blown. It seems to work. The elephants are unsettled by the racket. Some of them turn away and run off on their own. The rest keep advancing towards the center. The velites fall back, opening the wide gap between the manipules of the Hastatis. The elephants are lured in while the velites keep attacking with their javelins. They are approaching your line. Seeing those fearsome beasts roaming about is disconcerting. They were elephants at Ilipa, but they never got this close. You keep banging on your shields with your swords, as you've been instructed to. The elephants keep away from all the noise while the velites go on dealing with them. At last, they move past and disappear beyond the radar. The danger is over, at least for the moment. You notice your cavalry is no longer there. They must have charged while you were dealing with the elephants. At the signal, the Hastati close the gaps and start moving forward. You do the same and follow. You stop at a distance when they engage something that is the Carthaginian first line. You keep ready, not knowing what's going on. At one point, they start advancing again as if their opponents were retreating. Then they suddenly come to an abrupt halt. Their line is losing cohesion under what must be a powerful shock. You have to make a decision, and quickly. Lead your maniple forward and help the Hastati. Every moment counts. You order your advance to join the fight. Bodies, weapons, shields are scattered about the ground. The ground is slippery. Whatever has been going on here has been even more brutal than usual. You manage to keep balance, but the ensuing chaos is you become separated from the ranks. 2 enemies jump on you without wasting time. Well, I don't think you understand who the fuck I am. Levy soldiers aren't gonna do fucking shit to me. levy soldiers out here. You're like, oh, we're gonna attack the big bad. I am the big bad. You know, I don't even need to recover. I just need to just. You hastily recover your position, but it is not over yet. The opposite line is broken, but the clash is left out. You untidied and partly scattered. Your cavalry and the enemy are nowhere to be seen. The enemy infantry is fleeing, but in the distance they start splitting up into two separate directions. Something is blocking their path. Beyond you spot another line of foot soldiers ready for battle. You notice the glitter of heavy armor. Hannibal has kept his veterans in reserve. You must regroup or all is lost. Mountain Roman high officers ride from side to side shouting orders. Your maniple is to fall back and move to the right wing, but it is a difficult maneuver given the situation. Do as you're told. Your contribution is crucial. The maniple is regrouped, and after a speedy march, it takes place on the right wing. Now you form a single line along with SWTOR and Archara. Blood and corpses cover the ground that separates you and the Punics. You advance. You Legionnaires are hardened soldiers, but walking over mutilated corpses before facing the enemy is an appalling experience. Motivate them. Your men take heart. Their expressions as a mask of grim determination. You are beyond the gruesome tract. The enemy is waiting for you. This is the last stand. Your ancestors at Lake Regidilla centuries ago, the men in who broke the warlike Sam Knights at Aquilonia. After 3 ferocious wars, their sons who stopped Pyrrhus at the Beneventum. The generations of your grandfathers who shattered the Carthaginian fleet off of Agatis Islands. Did they feel like you do now, approaching a moment that will resonate through time? Many of your companions recognize the equipment of the enemy standing opposite to you, on the left of Hannibal's last line. They are Budians after Kane of their cities, switched sides and went to Hannibal. Keep cool. You keep your temper in check and stay focused on the imminent struggle. On the other side, I hit an officer. Keep going for the torso. I will not fall back. just out here laying down the fucking wall. No, I will not go back. Broodians are fighting bravely, you must admit it. To your dismay, a unit of African veterans comes to their aid. These are men that have followed Hannibal through the endless years of hardship and triumph, his finest troops. The Punics won't give away. They're too strong, your comrades are tired, too many wounded there. They're faltering. So many years, so much bloodshed only to fall here one step away from victory. You keep resisting, your formation is moments away from breaking. You almost fail to hear the approaching thunderclap and shockwave are playing through the rear of the Carthaginians' wake. The cavalry is back. Attacked on two fronts, the Punics are in chaos now. Without wasting a moment, you renew your assault with energy you didn't expect you had. Some of the enemies attempt to flee and are cut down. Many stand where they were and fight to their last breath. Others surrender and realize their all hope is lost. It is over. It's finally over. You receive your share of the spoils from the battle. They say Hannibal himself upon the return of Carthage told the Senate that the war is lost. The Council of War summoned by Scipio discards a direct attack on the Punic capital. The city is too well defended and the siege would take years. Peace talks are resumed. Carthage allowed to keep its laws, its territories in Africa. It loses everything else. Its foreign policy becomes de facto subject to Rome's will. The war indemnity they will pay will cripple them for generations. Their warships, once the pride and symbol of their power, are reduced to 10 triremes, and thus 16 years of war, not the longest, but the bloodiest conflict the world had ever seen. Your victorious armies in Africa leads. Your victorious army leaves Africa and lands in Lilybaeum. From there, you set sail once more. Your destination is Ostia, Rome's seaport. What is waiting for you and your comrades in Rome is even beyond your expectations. The triumphant procession is the most imposing the city has ever seen. Scipio, whom they start calling Africanus, For the land he conquered parades in front of you, his army and chariot pulled by 4 white horses. Today, the survivors of Kenai were the most deeply affected that they had their revenge at last, and no one will ever dare to question their honor again. But their long exile stole many years from their lives. This is something nobody will be able to give back. Meanwhile, another war is looming in the east. Emissaries from Pergamum, Rhodes, and even Athens came seeking the help of Rome against the expansion of King Philip V, ruler of Macedonia, and one of the most powerful kingdoms carved from Alexander's immense empire. Many see this new war as an opportunity too good to miss. The Republic may be tired after a long conflict with Carthage, but the army has been forged into a formidable weapon of conquest, a tempting tool in the hands of men longing for personal glory and richness way too tempting. Publius Sulpicius Galba, elected one of the 2 consuls for this year, is assigned to deal with the crisis in Macedonia. He is allowed to add precious veterans. He's allowed to add precious veterans from Africa like yourself to his army, but only on a volunteer basis. You are promised a quick campaign in a rich land with plenty of loot to settle down and allow your family to live comfortable lives after. I volunteer. You embark under the command of Consul Galba at the naval base of Brundisium to cross the Adriatic, one of the many portions of the Great Sea. When you land at Apollonia, you learn that Philip is conducting a campaign in the Dardanelles, while another one of his armies is besieging Athens. The Macedonian king grows emboldened by his success in the east as diplomatic missions fail, but it is widely believed that neither leader really wants peace at this point. The consul sent a small fleet to help the Athenians, while you remain with the bulk of the army to prepare the war on the mainland. So I'm definitely not touching those anymore. Your soldiers see you as a reliable and just leader. The patrol you're leading comes across a merchant. This is a dangerous area with reported bandit activity, and the merchant is afraid his 2 guards won't be sufficient, although not exactly the same as Rose close enough to yours. He asks if you are interested in escorting him against payment. You share would be 20 denarii, easy money, but you are not supposed to neglect your duty to refuse. The merchant is disappointed but leaves without arguing and return to the camp after a tedious patrol. Damn, I didn't make it back in time. Oh well, it doesn't matter. You have built a bridge across the river in front of you. Do the grunt work. The rank and file appreciate you sharing the burden. You wouldn't have minded a little rest though. You are tireless and hardworking. With 100 men like you, the bridge could have been finished in half the time. The bridge is ready. So there is a discussion between your comrades. Titus Modius maintains that the world is round, and the notion must have heard it somewhere in this land. Most of the rest believe have your say. You decide to share your opinion. Agree with Modius, the world is round. Try to defend Modius, who has a strong argument in favor. Most of your comrades keep dismissing your eccentric theories. Your party is walking through a small town when suddenly a stone bounces off your shield with a lump. Someone is having fun using you as target practice. Try to catch the culprit. You can't see anything, but Rustius calls for your attention. He points to a figure withdrawing behind a building. You give chase. You seize him after pursuit. He's just a young boy. Scare him straight. You can only catch a few words, but by the way he's groveling and crying, you think he's learned his lesson. You let him go back and get back to your companions. They're still laughing it up. here. I gotta keep doing it until Constitution bumps up. Yo, I'm in a machine over here. Holy shit. After crossing the lands of Dacerati, your army has reached the Macedonian border. Before winter, Philip laid waste to the area surrounding Athens, but now you are the biggest threat to this fighting force, and you know he has diverted his efforts to stop you. From the safety of your new camp, forage parties are sent further and further away to harvest wheat from the surrounding fields. It looks like a fine day when you set off to a distant area. Everything seems to go smoothly as you spent the hours harvesting their precious crop. It comes down as a shock when one of the soldiers raises a cry alarm. A large cavalry squadron is approaching, and they are not friends. It won't take long before they get here. You are in charge of them, and you must think quickly. You might seek refuge in the small forest to the northwest. If you are not too slow, you should be able to reach it in time before you are swept, or you might be able to convince your men to suppress panic, close ranks, and orderly towards the trees, and try and keep up with the enemy at bay. Give order to close ranks. The horsemen were counting on you to break and disperse, but your men's discipline and training have prevailed. The charge is called off before the impact, but they keep harassing you as they can, while the solid square you have formed slowly moves towards the safety of the forest. You easily ward off the occasional spear thrust. At last, you reach the forest. You press through the trees, but the cavalry won't dare follow. You keep moving about half an hour. You're still safe from the cavalry, but there might be other dangers lurking in a place like this. You hear noises of battlefield coming from not far away. All eyes turn to you. This might lead to another ambush, but one may not be able to escape. On the other hand, someone might be in need of help. Follow the noises. There is a glade in front of you. A bunch of legionnaires are trying to fight off a much larger party of Thracian auxiliaries. You are seen almost immediately and have to defend yourselves. You have enough men to turn and tide a battle on this clash. Let's go. I think we just go with the normal torso hits. We're just gonna clean through everyone. Nothing special. Yo, I actually don't think I've ever seen Greaves in this game. I'm not sure. The remaining Thracians make their escape rather than face the risk of another surprise. You try to put them as much distance as possible between you and them. The soldiers you have rescued are eager to join your party. From the hilltop, you can see a large tract of land. The most direct route to your camp goes through the plain in front of you, but the presence of the enemy cavalry squadron dissuades you from going down the road. There are two alternatives, the wood-ragged road to your left or the marshland to your right. Both are good cover, so it appears. Go to the woods. The crossing is difficult. At one point, the ruckus swearing behind your soldiers tells you that something has seriously happened. Marsilius, one of the soldiers, fell off his encampment. He landed on the ground 6 places below and seems to be seriously injured. There is no way for him to come back from there, and there is no way. Unless you want to abandon him to his fate, someone must climb down and help him find his way back to camp. Go to his aid. Achilles and Curtis are ready to follow you. Cautiously, you begin the tricky descent. The demanding task, but you reach the bottom safely. Marcius' sword arm is broken, and he limps heavily as he walks. When Aquilius and Curnius reach you, you say your goodbye to your brothers in arms above and set off on your own. You have been walking for a while when you ears up for any suspicious sounds. In a shocking, horrifying moment, you see both Cleus and Curnius collapse, each with a javelin struck through his body. Thoughts and instincts overlap your mind. Whoever did this possessed great skill and talent. Marsilius can't run, you won't leave him to die. 2 figures emerge from the trees. You recognize their insignia. Peltas, Philip's elite troops. One of them comes towards you, the other one attacks Marsilius. You must dispatch your opponent quickly. Marsilius won't be able to resist for long. Alright, I got you. Oh my god. Well, now it doesn't really matter. I can take my fucking time. The second Paltus had killed Marcus before coming back for you. Your victory was nothing short of heroic, yet you feel incomplete and empty. You're quite sure they were scouting for a larger group. You can't stay for long. You take the proof of your deed from your enemy and leave after one last goodbye to your fallen comrades. You eventually leave the hills and finally go on site at your camp. You manage to rejoin your group before reaching the fortification. You would explain that you were the only survivor of the disastrous ambush. You find yourself in confusion when you arrive in camp. Small parties of survivors like yours are coming in with alarming news of what happened outside. The consul sends out his cavalry to rescue the beleaguered foragers and return and leads the heavy infantry in support. You have led back more men than can be expected. Your good work is appreciated. After your ordeal, you are left behind to garrison the base. The army comes back at the end of the day. The Macedonians have been repulsed in the back of the camp. There is even a soldier who boasts of killing Philip's horse, almost getting the king himself. You found that hard to believe. An armistice is declared to bury the dead on each side. The night is silent and peaceful, but when the morning comes, you are baffled to find out that Philip and his army have left. For the moment, Galba does not seem inclined to give chase. Great, I gotta do this monkey. I gotta keep doing this. This is what I wish, like, I don't know if, like, I don't know, normal Roman armies, every rank had to lead foraging parties. As you approach the village, you hailstones greet you. Many peasants are gathered straight ahead, makeshift weapons ready. Try to capture them, avoiding bloodshed. You instruct your men to use their weapons on to kill unless strictly necessary. When all is ready, you try slowly enticing the villagers out of their position and bring them to where you can surround them. Something goes horribly wrong. One of your team gets too far attached and gets swarmed by the peasants. Legionaries to the rescue. When you come closer, you see them surrounding the soldiers. Your eyes wide open. Oh, great. We fucked up. When they surrender, more than half the peasants lie on the ground dead. You feel more like a butcher than a soldier. After the carnage you come and leave. Blah, blah, blah. Oh well. Philip comes very close to catching your army unprepared near Plumia, and your forces are forced to retreat. Soon after, you attempt to march into the upper Macedonian region of Archara, and narrow pass is the only way in. The Macedonian king must have anticipated the consul's move. Your scouts report that the pass has been fortified. It changes nothing. Galba resolves to force his way through. If nothing else, the ground is too difficult for the enemy to employ the phalanx. You are kept in reserve this time. You observe the advance of some manipulators in an elevated vantage point. The Cretan archers are pestering them with arrows, but they know what to expect and march on tightly under in the protection of their large shields. When they get closer, the advance comes to a halt. It seems the defenders are throwing stones at them. The damage must be negligible. The noise is certainly frightening many of For many of the men, it takes a while for the officers to regroup the municipals and resume the advance. They finally reach the ramparts and begin to put some of the pressure on the Macedonians. At the same time, you see other units attacking a nearby hilltop. A short and brutal clash ensues. The enemy is outstated by your fellow legionnaires, and your fellow legionnaires have gained convenient access to the rear of the Macedonian line. When they reach the back of the ramparts, the battle becomes a one-sided bloodbath. You've gained access to Erdonia, but the pass defended by a relatively small number of troops, whereas the rest of Philip's army. Even with much of the enemy army out of the way, there are strong rumors about troubles in the north of the country. Everyone knows you won't be pushing that deep into Macedonia. Your supply lines are already stretched as thin as they can get. It doesn't matter. You have the region of Erdonia at your mercy, and that will be enough for the moment. Several towns fall with hardly any resistance, heavy with plunder and leaving a trail of destruction behind you. You move back into the territory of Desrate. Here, the consul chooses the city of Pelion as a future base of operations against Macedonia. Its inhabitants don't share the view that you will capture. Don't share his view. You will capture Pelion by force. Today you'll storm the city walls. Wherever you look, men are working the building ladders. Getting ready to the light rank will be a difficult task. Have your say. Your rank carries weight. The ladders are ready. The defenders do it. They can't throw your actions as the ladders. Their length ain't perfect, but they will do. The first man will receive a mural crown. Go for the mural crown. My men will help me as best I can. Climb at breakneck speed. Alright, time to just lay down some law. See if I got it. No one else has made it to the top. You're the first. Let's go. The last man is broken. The city is yours. Not afterward, you are walking along the streets of Pelion. Your orders are the same as usual in this kind of situation. Kill anything you meet, be it people or animals. On your right, there are a beautiful small temple to the goddess of Ceres, whom the locals call Demeter. You see a lone man on the street. The moment he sees you, he is frozen with terror. He is unarmed and looks too old and scrawny to fight anyway. He is hardly a threat. A couple of legionnaires probably move towards him, swords at the ready. Stop them. The soldiers look at you in confusion but respect your command. They fall back in line. Your men trust you. Nobody questions your order. Your gesture the old man to go into the temple and stay there. He complies with you and hears the sighs of relief from someone among your rank. After a while, the sound of trumpets announce that Pelion has been secured. The slaughter is over and the pillage begins. When the situation is settled down, the rewards for the fight on the wall is signed. You are awarded the mural crown along with a magnificent prize. Philip had to deal with an invasion by the Darnians from the north. The attackers are retreating now. The hard pressed by the Macedonian army after a garrison the freshly conquered city of Pelion. Galba turns westward to the original starting point before winter comes. The rich loot of your raid in Upper Macedonia and Darcy is shared among your troops. Part of it has been set aside and is going to be up for grabs in a series of games to be held. You'd expect the cream of the crop of the army to compete. Each one will receive 10,000 denarii. There are also 25,000 for the runner-up and 1,000 for third. Most of the best Roman armies going to participate in wooing Spirus Equestus, a Valus known for his superb athletic prowess. You start in the first of 3 laps around the track. Keep a steady pace, a very good lap. You are steadily gaining ground. You are in the lead group. Lap 1 done, 2 more. Save your breath. You decide to save your strength during this lap. You may lose ground now, but you're going to have a small advantage later. Mediocre lap. You are losing ground from the lead. You're in the middle group. 2 laps done. The strength you have saved should give you an edge in the next lap. Sprint. You decide to spend your best energies in this lap. A mediocre lap. You close the race. Given the level of opponents, this is no... Close your race in the middle. Goddamn. Tragic. The new consul Publius Villius Tepulus brings reinforcements from Italy to take charge. Galba's term of office is over. Okay, well. About 2,000 veterans from the African campaign are mutinying. For one thing, they claim to have never volunteered for this war, but were first to embark by the tribunes of the former consul. For another, they have served for long enough and have the right to be back with their families. Sympathetic. You can't turn your back on your brothers and sons who have shared the hardships of the African campaign with you. They have every right to make their demands after all they have given to the Republic. The situation is resolved when the new consul Tepulus agrees to write to the Senate about the veterans' request, providing the mutiny is called off immediately. Your soldiers see you as a reliable leader. Okay, I'm waiting for Constitution to go up one more. The veteran legion are picking on a young Umbrian recruit. They have taken his helmet and won't give it back. The Umbrians are Soci. While not full citizens, they sustained the Republic in its darkest hour. Besides, this young man here is a volunteer. Make the veterans stop. Your virtue increased. There is a swift change in attitude as soon as they recognize your rank. They apologize and return the helmet. The Umbrian soldier thanks you. You are building quite a reputation as a trustworthy stand-up presence. With the arrival of spring and news of Philip's presence in the nearby Epirus, Tepulus is eager to leave winter's quarters and move towards the enemy. You are encamped long days march when something completely unexpected happens. The new consul is here ready to take command and send Tepulus back to Rome. He must have left Italia much sooner than customary and is hurried to force marches. Since then, he is very young for a consul about your age, but Titus Quintius Flamininus is looking like a very driven man. A few days later, his reinforcements joined you. Flamininus has brought over 3,000 men, many of them veterans who served in Hispania or Africa. Come on, I need another con. One more con. You are admiring the exquisitely woven cape. The shop owner claims it's made of special wool that grows in trees in the distant lands near the edge of the world where Alexander won his last great battle. You don't know what it is. Far-fetched story, but it certainly looks and feels a lot better than common wool. Such a fine possession may improve your status a little, though it doesn't come cheap. Buy it. You agree to the price. Fairy tales or not, this high-quality cape is certainly very comfortable. Also makes your presence more remarkable. Damn. Almost at a fucking 100 strength. You overhear 2 tribunes discussing the present situation. The youngest pair have insist that it would be better to take the long route through Despair, bypass the enemy entirely, and invade Macedonia from there. The enemy's position is very solid and difficult to attack. It is no surprise that the consul accepts a summit with Philip to discuss peace terms. He needs the time to figure out how to crack this nut. It is even less surprising when the meeting comes to nothing. The next day, several skirmishes erupt between the patrols and the fighting planes. Your camp from the Macedonians. The fighting is spreading quickly, and your unit is sent to help reduce their pressure. Philip has sent reinforcements too. The first thing you notice are 20 feet tall pikes held high by the rear ranks. The phalanx is approaching. You have seen many things in the last 12 years. None of them are as scary as 5 layers of spears pointed advancing towards you like an impregnable death-dealing wall. On the other side is at the right distance. You prepare to hurl your first javelin. Your target skillfully deflects the missile, but at least you cause some minor disruptions. As the other side gets closer, you steel yourself, alright? Oh, didn't mean to do that. You have broken through the spear wall. You engage the phalangites without wasting time. You are outnumbered, but they are not as skilled as you at close quarters. The fierce barbarian warriors sowing death among their ranks is too much for them. The phalangites are breaking and retreating. The enemy skirmishers are promptly interfering with their draw. They can't hold you for long. You start giving chase as soon as you've regrouped. Your pursuit takes you closer and closer to the enemy camp. The ground is getting unfavorable. Such a slope is going to make it difficult for you to fight. In an instant, the noise and cries of your companions alert you to more horrifying need. The Macedonians have put up siege weapons to reinforce their positions. They are shooting back with you with ballistae. Something smashes into your shield and knocks you off your feet. In the shock, the moment your first clear thought is that your arm is still attached. It must have been a glancing blow. Or that would have been deadly. Enemies are approaching from above. You feel very vulnerable without a shield. Borrow a shield of another soldier, send him to the rear. He complies with the orders without arguing and fucking dips. Let's go, time to fight. It's quite simple. We sit here and go for these arm shots. Because there's nothing they can do. As soon as you gain a little ground, the difficult terrain and enemy defenses unravel your progress. When sunset comes, the skirmish dies out. The last skirmish proved that you can't defeat Philip without a frontal attack, as long as he's holding his advantage position. One night, your maniple and many other soldiers all gathered in the intervallium between the ramparts and the tents. It is a little army, perhaps big enough as a legion. As Tribune is in charge, there is bound to be a man next to him. You march out on the moonlight, moving from the enemy, at least initially. Eventually, you take a path through the mountains. Before dawn, you encamp to eat and rest, only to resume your journey at night. They say the bound man is a local shepherd who promised to lead you behind the Macedonian camp. He is bound to make sure he stays true to his word, and has been promised a rich payment for his help. On the third night, you were told to be doubly vigilant. You must be very close to your destination. One of the other legionnaires immediately gives an alarm and points to the rise off in the path. He is right, his helmet glinting in the moonlight. Two figures are trying to make their escape. Enemy lookalikes take part in the chase. Even with the help of a moonlight, the hunt is very demanding and looks like they have a good head start, but you never lose sight of them. Only Torrentis is keeping up with you. When the two fugitives realize you're getting close, they turn around and fight you. Quite easy. All the legionaries are arriving in 2s and 3s, but this battle is already over. You rejoin the bulk of your force and resume your march. You arrive at the destination before dawn. You are told that the enemy is below the other side of the height and you are holding right now. You can take some time to rest, but soon in the morning, the Tribune signals your position to the console with a column of smoke. After this, you are told to wait and be ready. It's hard to say how long you've been waiting. In moments like this, as always seems time comes slow. Now you can clearly hear the noise of battle coming from the other side. At last, the order of advance is given. When you appear above the enemy camp, you can feel their panic even from this far. Some of them attempt to oppose your advance, but the others are routed with ease. The rest of the Macedonian army is fighting against the troops that have remained with Flamininus. The mere sight of you approaching from behind is too much for them. They give up the battle and flee. Were it not for the rugged ground that hampered your cavalry, Philip would have lost most of his army today. As it is, many of the Macedonians managed to escape, including their king. You could have won the war on this very day. On a positive note, they have left behind some of their possessions in their hasty flight. Consul Flaminius is known for being a felony, a great admirer of Gracchian art culture. He thinks virtuous, honorable officers like you will help establish firm, long-lasting ties with the locals. Yeah, I'm gonna stop. I'm just gonna... Oh, oops. Your victory at the River Aus opened up a path through Epirus and through Thessalia, a region long under Macedonian. Here you are joined by two allies, the Aetolians and the Athamanes. They have already taken control of several towns. The consul is determined to capture the city of Phaloria, but is garrisoned by 2,000 soldiers of Philip's army. It soon becomes clear that this is going to be harder than usual. The defenders are driven back every assault. Days after the siege began, your patrols capture a group of merchants not too far from the city. Try and pry some useful information. They won't cooperate. Just take them back to your camp. You have already done your part. The return trip is uneventful. Today, you'll storm the city walls. Wherever you look, the men are building ladders, getting ready. Have your say. Go for the mural crown. Climb at breakneck speed. With little stance, I'm able to just destroy. As soon as the last enemy is dispatched at the top of the wall secured, you look around. No one else has made it to the top, and yet you're the first. Last name's Wilkins, the city is yours. After you have left the burning ruins of Floria behind, the rewards of battle are assigned. You are awarded a mural crown. Your soldiers think you as a reliable leader. You suffer a mortifying setback at 8 tracks. Your siege engines tear down a section of the city walls, but the Macedonian garrison forms a phalanx behind the breach. They thwart any attempt to break into the city. The fact that your maniple wasn't involved in the attacks is little less than your frustration. This episode is an anguishing reminder of how impervious a phalanx can be under the right conditions. Flamonius raises the siege and leads you in search of less defended targets. The town of Phanotius, Antichria, Ambrosus, Amphilis, and Dos fall in rapid succession. You actually usually have to do a lot of searching to find something good in the market. The important city of Elete is the last to fall before winter. Its doom is sealed when a large section of the wall is brought down. When a dispute arises between your men and a group of Etonian allies during the pillaging, it is only your intervention that prevents blood from being shed. The Achaean League joins the anti-Macedonian coalition. Flaminius and the Philip meet again, that to no avail. Many suspect the consul of keeping a door open in case his command is not prolonged, so that his successor won't take credit for ending the war. When he is given a proconsul authority by the Senate, you are all certain that the conflict will go on until an overwhelming defeat forces Philip to accept all of Rome's demands. Also, your army is partly renewed when 1,000 of reinforcements from Rome join you. The winter was especially harsh. Thankfully, you're well equipped. The consul holds you in such high esteem that he offers you to let you train with an old gladiator master as part of his retinue. Which aspect of combat do you wish to? Sword. You learn a few tricks of the trade and technique that makes you an even better swordsman. You benefit from natural talent with a sword. Bro, I'm at 99. I don't know if 100 if you can get that. Great, I hate doing this. No, I don't hate it, I'm just fucking with you. Hamlet's seen better days. There are provisions. Take their provisions and you'll doom the inhabitants. Spare the settlement. Look elsewhere. Your men show respect for your decision. Ambush. Oh shit, it was an actual ambush. Well, it actually wasn't, because I can just fucking stab them in the chest and they die. We did it. They realize they've bitten off more than they can chew. With no choice left to call. If they attack, they retreat. From the stories you've heard, it must be a band of Haman. Even from afar, you can tell there's something very wrong with going on in the center. Your scouts confirm its presence. Under attack by bandits. If you get involved, there might be no turn. Attack the bandits. The hail of javelins hits you in your party as soon as you get in range. Their ranks are partially disrupted. They are surrounding you. Okay. Yeah, making just quick fucking work of them. You have carved a bloody path through the bandits. Your soldiers' discipline and equipment is no match for them. Your first wave is beaten back with few losses. You are under no illusion that the battle is over. You are sure you have not been hammered yet. If anything, things get a lot worse. Go ahead. As you press into the village, you see another group of enemies. From the promptness with which they executed his orders, their leader must be none other than Haman. He must have concluded you are the head of this party. When they attack, he comes straight for you. You are outnumbered, and there is no escape. A duel with Haman is the only way to turn the tide. And he is dead in 3 hits. Easy. When they see their invincible leader collapse, the bandits stare in disbelief. Their morale shatters and they begin to flee in every direction. Quite a few are slain before they can get away. Slowly and apprehensively, the villagers come out of their dwellings. They still don't know if they should fear their liberated as much as their leaders. There are still quite a few bodies around. It would be hard for these people to recover. Be generous, take only an equitable share. Villagers consider it a fair price to play after you save them from the raiders. Your men are still in awe after your astounding victory over Haman. They didn't even think about complaining. One of the elders thanks you to follow. Asks you to follow him inside his house. He shows you a wonderful pair of bronze greaves. You know that, from enough of his language, know that they belong to an ancestor of his who served under Alexander during his conquest. He belonged to the legendary Silver Shields, one of the few to come back and retire during the wars of Diocletian that tore the young empire apart. He wants you to take the greaves. You are glad to accept his gift. You have completed your mission. Let's go. The camp in proximity of Ferry is one of the most ancient cities in Thalasia. All you know is that Philip is the main body of his army and somewhere in this region. The air is heavy with tension. There is no way around the final confrontation to the end of this war. You find some comfort in knowledge that this is the opponent you have already defeated in battle, but the setback of Atrix proved that under the right conditions the fans would be nearly impossible to overcome. You know that Flaminimus is clever enough to prevent Philip from using his fearsome yet scarily mobile weapon to its full effectiveness, or things get very ugly, but it is way beyond your control. You immediately set things aside as you'd better stay focused on the things you have an impact on. You are in a company in a vanguard mostly consisting of light infantry. Your mission is to learn about what you can of the Macedonians' whereabouts. It is a surprisingly short quest. You are crossing the hills of the northern headquarters when you run into a similarly composed party enemies. Their own camp must be very close. Philip is certainly not wasting time. He must have learned of your presence as already on your heels. You don't have any orders to attack on sight, so you just preserve each other from safe distance as you wait for the messengers who have already been sent from Flaminus to come back with instructions. Part of the rival vanguard belongs to Agnes Peltas. You can tell from their insignia if normal Peltas are the best of the best. Phyllis and Shea, these are the cream of the crop. You cannot attack, but if you can issue a challenge to single combat, it could be occasion to personal glory or an early grave. Issue a challenge. There is elite troops. They are most likely one of the best will answer your challenge. Are you sure you want to do this? Yes. Their leader comes forward, Achillearch, a commander of 1,000. There are only 2 of them in the Agagma. In a brisk voice, he asks you if you are Archara. When you confirm, he gives you a long appraising look. It seems you have a reputation even among the enemy. The way you hurl his javelin at you leaves you no doubt about his deft skills. You deflect his powerful, well-aimed attack. As you prepare to respond, he unsheathes the sword. You are startled when you recognize it. It's not an unusual blade they call a Xiphos in this land. It is a Hispanian sword. Much worse. You remember seeing the decorations of the hilt. The sword belonged to Tiradus Curtus Dentius, one of the most prominent centurions in your legion. It was forged by renowned Carpathians who Dentius fell almost 2 years ago in their plumage, reported to be killed by a leader of the Aegean Palace. You don't believe it. Don't believe that there are more than a handful of opponents as dangerous as this one in the whole world, but now it's too late to back out. I don't think you understand who the fuck I am. Like, oh shit. Tough battle. Your allies erupt in elation as you deal the killing blow. The 2 best warriors in both armies have met in single combat today, and you came out on top. The Aegean Peltas look at you with a mix of astonishment and respect. They do not interfere as you strip the fallen adversary of his weapons and armor. Dusk is approaching when the messengers come back. There will be no more fighting today. You are all to return to the camp. Upon hearing of your duel, a tribune sends his physician to take care of your wounds. In the morning, both commanders send off a party of cavalry and light infantry. During the actions, your Italic horsemen are outshined by their Etonian rivals. They are not as good as the Numidians, but they are still remarkable. On On the next day, you break, imitating the Macedonians Clearable, Philip, and Flaminius are dissatisfied with the ground. For 2 days, you move across the southern Thessalia, making no contact with the enemy forces, their exact positions hidden by the hills. Finally, you open up camp at the sanctuary of Thetis, not far from Parcelus. An intense thunderstorm makes you sleep difficult during the night. Upon awakening, you find a persistent fog that veils everything. This doesn't bode well. The Macedonians could very well be anywhere. You watch with curiosity as 10 squadrons of cavalry and nearly 1,000 Veliolites are assembled and dispatched to investigate the hills. At least you remember there were hills yesterday in that direction. As you look at the large scouting party, you disappear into the fog as you recall someone mentioning that they have called the Sinoscephalae, the dog's head. It takes quite a while for messengers to come back, and when they do, the camp is stirred into ferment. What filters to your ears is almost disturbing. The patrols have met with an enemy force that can hardly be held off. Enemy detachments, about twice as large as the first one, are compromising many Aetolians. It is sent to help them. When the fog disappears at last, you can see the enemy engagement going on when your allies are being steadily pushed downhill by a superior force. The proconsul has formed you into 2 wings. Your minute bull is on the right and the right of the left one. In front of the raging battle, there is nothing ahead of the right wing as far as you can see. You advance, and as the retreating skirmishers fall back through the gaps in the formation, the center of the line makes contact. With Philip's troops, the effect is almost immediate. Now it is one of the opponents is slowly losing ground. Nevertheless, as the fighting spreads, a small group of mercenaries falls upon you. What do you think they're doing? Alright, well, I mean, I know what I'm doing. Throw shield broken. Damn, sucks to be him. You follow the fleeing mercenaries, but close to the top, you find a dreadful sight. The phalanx is there, its long spikes are lowered and ready to push you all the way back down. The phalanx approaches is impossible and knows that their ranks is deeper than the last time we'll be fighting against an avalanche. Easy money. You have broken through the spear wall. You engage the phalangites without wasting time. You are outnumbered, but they're not as skilled as you. I should probably work on it. You pierce the spear wall, sowing death and panic. And yet it is not enough. Their formation is too deep. The ground is too unfavorable. Their rear ranks start attacking you with their pikes, and surrounding the phalangites threaten to crush you with the sheer numbers. You are forced to pull back. The pressure in the whole front is overpowering. Mercifully, the uneven ground is slowing down the encumbersome phalanx. You partially broke ranks, used a moment of respite to rally a riddle. You see the other wing advancing with all elephants in front of the infantry. They soon disappear from your field of view. You don't know what they're attacking. The hillside you were standing on hides everything. At the length you were trying to contain the advance of the phalanx as best you can, then they launch another all-out assault. Oh damn, I hate when that happens. You are doing the impossible, yep. This time the effect is more noteworthy. You were repelled again, but the phalanx has been forced to back away a little. The small gap appears in the flank of the enemy. The gap is closed and the opportunity melts away. You don't know how long you continue holding out. You venture on. There are so many lads so close to the breaking point. Your army is on the verge of collapse. You can barely see more troops approaching from the top of the hills behind the phalanx. They are more hidden by the pikes held by the rear ranks of the Macedonians as impossible to recognize, but they must be the enemy, more of them. This is how it ends. The phalanx is going to rout you and the reinforcements will pursue you, exterminate you. You will feel most resigned. You just hope and make it quick when it's your turn. When the reinforcements get closer, you catch a little glimpse of their shields. You can't believe your eyes. The rear of the phalanx is trying to turn around and face them. They are not enemies, they are Romans. You don't know how they got there, you don't care. All that matters is the enemy is surrounded. You are going to live. You join the assault from this side. The plight of the Macedonians is hopeless. Their long weapons are just a hindrance now, and they are being attacked from multiple directions. The phalangites stow their shields away and attempt to flee, but there is no escape for them. Before long, the survivors are holding their pikes high with both hands, the strange gesture you have never seen before. They must be surrendering. Tell your comrades to stop the slaughter. You should take prisoners. Your virtue is increased. It takes a while and a lot of shouting, but finally they listen to you. You have saved the lives of Macedonians, but many more on the battlefield are not so lucky. They are massacred by the thousands while the slaughter gets stopped. When all is over, you learn by bits of the scraps of information what really happened. The right wing of your army charged with the elephants at the left of the Macedonians. There, the phalanx was still in marching order in difficult ground. It was put to the flight right away. Most of the Romans there and their allies are busy chasing the enemy, but one of the tribunes took about half a legion and came to your rescue. What happened next you have seen with your own eyes, so it seems the enemy hadn't planned this battle after all. He was rushed into it as much as you. Philip and the rest of the survivors had withdrawn to Macedonia. Peace talks resumed shortly thereafter. This time the defeated king had no choice to accept all of Rome's conditions. The Macedonians give up all lands of the Grecians in Europe and Asia while impairing limitations the armed force on their military capacity. It looks like the sun set on the power that once had half the world at its feet. The Grecians acclaim you as liberators. You wonder if they realize they change one master for another. They are formerly free and the subject of their own laws, but now that they set foot in Gracia, Rome will not leave anytime soon. Such a wonderful and cultured land, but each city is following its own petty interests, and they are divided by perennial conflicts that are doomed to be subjugated by more purposeful and tight-knit powers. Anyway, these thoughts quickly fade into your background of your mind. You were going home. The sun is rising behind you as you stand at the bow of a ship that will take you across the sea. As you look at the vast expanse of water, you think of all the people you have known who now lie buried in Hispania and Africana, or in the lands you were leaving behind. You remember the enemies that fell before you, how many of them had a choice. You tried to smother the thought as you used to, but for some reason it's not as easy as all now that it's all over. For a while, you stand there alone, enjoying the company of the sea, the great sea that drop by drop is becoming your sea. Your service against Carthage had been rewarded with 14 Agoria of land in Apulia. You spent a few placid years there with your wife and children. The loot you brought back was especially rich. You were able to double your land holdings with much less than half. There was enough left over to ensure a dignified existence to you and your young family. Eventually, you were drafted once more. Holy shit, I was drafted? What? Antiochus, ruler of the immense Seleucid Empire, saw Rome as a serious threat to his hegemony. In the east, you were part of the army sent overseas to stop his effort to liberate Gracia from the influence of the Republic. Your age and experience had ensured a place among the Triarii. Thanks to your extremely high popularity, you were appointed first centurion, the highest ranking centurion in the whole legion. Despite being close to your 40s, you were still highly respected as the best fighter in the army. I've never actually gotten this far. I've played this game so much, holy shit. After the first year of the war, you were greatly surprised to meet again your old commander, Scipio. This time, he had chosen to act as a mere legate to his younger brother Lucius, the consul in charge. As a first centurion, you had a seat on the council of war, along with the man who had been your commander when Hannibal was defeated. The war was won, but as Triarii, you hardly saw any action, even the great battle of Magnesia. Upon your return to Italia, you moved back to Rome as a winner of the civic crown. You were admitted to the senatorial rank. The honor and prestige implied by your new position dramatically changed your life and that of your family. You found yourself involved with politics of the capital. You were even elected to serve as a term as quaestor, though your political career went no further. In the final years of your life, war was declared upon Carthage for a third time. After a long siege, Carthage was razed to the ground by Scipio Aemilius, the adopted grandson of Scipio Africanus, your long-dead former commander. Your reaction to the news surprised the people around you. It was as if a part of you had burned with the Punic city. A mere few days later, you silently followed its fate peacefully in your sleep. And here I went. That was the end. With all my awards, my vanquished enemies, that was the game. I got 5th place. Yep. And that was A Legionnaire's Life. I really recommend, if you like this, you buy it and play it. I think it's $8. I would get it when it goes on sale. It is a fun game, very replayable. And yep, thank you for watching me and joining me on this journey. I hope you enjoyed my playthrough. I hope you enjoyed the game, and I hope to see you in another video. Thank you for watching. See you later.